You're listening to the Soulless Minions of Orthodoxy. You'll notice by the title that this is not alternative DVD commentaries. Justin and I wanted to do... By the way, Justin's here. Say hello.
Hi.
We wanted to do something a little different. We're still going to do commentaries, but we thought we would just throw something else out into the mix, something that's maybe not so much in left field, maybe center field. It's still in our oeuvre or our wheelhouse, as you would say. We just wanted to throw something out there and see if it sticks. If you listen to it, please give us feedback. If it sucks, let us know. If it's any good, let us know. If it's good, we'll spin it off into something. If it sucks, I'll delete it, and you'll never know it existed.
It never happened.
Exactly. It's a nostalgia-based show. They're going to be very short, but one of the key things here is that the other person, Justin in this case, does not know what we're going to be talking about. I do. And then our next episode, I won't know what we're going to be talking about. So it's going to be vice versa like that for these two little demos that we're going to have out. So, Justin, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. You remember that?
I remember that. Bum bum bum! Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum.
Okay, so this movie came out in 1991. It was directed by Kevin Reynolds.
Yes.
Starring Kevin Costner. So it's the two Kevins.
Right.
They did Fandango together. That's where they met. And then they did famously Waterworld together, in which their friendship fell apart.
But that was after Robin Hood.
Waterworld?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying,
in
general, this is some of the things they did.
Yeah.
Well, what do you remember of this one? Because this came out when I was 10 years old or around that age.
Yeah.
And I remember it being really big at the time.
It was a big deal.
It was really exciting.
Oh yeah, I remember it. This was a big, whether it's summer or Christmas time movie, it was a big deal.
And it may not be like fondly remembered, but I think I think it's still in the
I don't think
public
it has
consciousness
aged particularly well.
No, probably not.
It does have moments, for
definitely,
sure.
Definitely.
And I dare say, like you just showed me, a number of those moments are directly connected to Alan Rickman, just as you like to say, eating the frame.
I was thinking of that phrase when we were watching it.
He's clearly having a ball with it.
Actually, I heard that Kevin Costner was not happy that Alan Rickman was getting so much screen time.
I can't say I'm surprised. Watching some of the clips we just watched, it's really painfully obvious that this is a big budget Hollywood interpretation of a historical myth or legend. And when it almost takes me out of the movie to see Kevin Costner or Christian Slater.
It really does, because we just watched that one of the scenes with both of them in it.
Yeah.
And I like Kevin Costner. I really do.
As an actor, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's done a lot of great stuff. His performance, not the best.
No.
It was just not the perfect fit for this movie. I think that's just him as an actor. I just don't think he was maybe the right tenor to play Robin Hood, perhaps. But Christian Slater as well. I think he brought some Christian Slater-esque baggage to it.
Yes.
Morgan Freeman, on the other hand, I think fits perfectly.
Yeah, he's fine.
When I first saw this, I had no idea who Morgan Freeman was. I was a kid.
We knew who Morgan Freeman was. He was in Lean On
Me.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, you're right. But I was a kid. I didn't really...
But I didn't see Morgan Freeman. I saw the character.
I saw Azim.
Yes.
Azim, the Great One. Did you give yourself this name?
Even Alan Rickman. I don't see Hans Gruber.
I didn't see Hans Gruber either. I don't know if I'd even seen Die Hard at this point.
Of course you have.
Oh, maybe.
That
young? Had I seen?
Yeah, you had to have. We knew who Alan Rickman was.
Maybe. I think I was too young to really place actors at that point.
Well,
because I know I'd seen Lean On Me, and that's the one thing I could think I would have known Morgan Freeman from.
Right.
But when I saw this, I thought it was a heck of a lot of fun, and when we saw it, the theater was packed, and I think our parents probably took us, but when you rewatch it, it's considerably violent, and there's a lot of dark moments in it that not meant for kids, because I think it's PG-13, so they could skirt by with a few things.
Right.
I think maybe the ratings board probably would give it an R
now
by today's standards. Perhaps.
I think it would still fall into PG-13.
You think so?
Yeah.
Do you remember the opening scene with they're cutting off hands, for Christ's sake?
Yeah, but you don't actually see it.
No, but it's pretty disturbing.
I still think it would fall into PG-13.
Well, okay. The rating aside is that it's dark territory for. They were marketing this to young boys.
Well, I mean, let's not forget the ending, the big final, climactic ending.
Oh, right.
When a good chunk of that build up to Robin Hood getting to save Maid Marian is the attempted rape of Maid Marian. I mean, they turned it into a bloody joke, for crying out loud, where they show the shot from the bottom of her feet as she's on the ground, and he spreads her legs.
He comically spreads her legs.
I know. And like, are we supposed to laugh? What's going on here?
It's definitely shot to make you laugh.
Yeah, but it's not a funny. I mean, she's terrified.
But it does make you laugh. Isn't that weird?
It does.
It's it's
because of him.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
They rode that line a little too finely, and it slipped into the comedy where I didn't really take it seriously.
Maybe you're right. Rickman is.
It's his
character. It was him. Rickman in his toolbox as an actor is able to pull that off. Like, he's funny as Hans Gruber in moments.
Yes, but I do believe Hans Gruber to be violent, and when he's in a serious scene, I'm not thinking of the funny side of Hans Gruber, but in that scene of Marion being attemptedly raped, that I don't want to say I mean, it's not a funny thing no matter what context it's in.
Right.
But there was, it took the piss out of it, as they say, because it's, and the way they shot it, it's like, what were they thinking? I mean, for Christ's sake, they marketed this to families, in a way.
They did.
And like, why would you do that?
That just goes back to the hand cutting again.
Well, but it's different. It's different.
Well, yeah, it's a different note, but it's still
it's serious. Yes, but
violent and not.
But they kind of move on from the severity of that. Like when we just watched the scene where, what's his name? Christian Slater's character?
Will.
When Will is about to try and knife Costner from about 15, 20 feet away, and Costner draws on him and shoots him through the hand, and contrasting with the opening scene with chopping off hands for stealing and whatnot, he gets shot through the hand and he's just like, oh, he grimaces and runs away, where in reality you'd be like, Jesus fucking Christ, you just shot me through the goddamn hand, you son of a bitch. You'd be like, someone pull this thing out. Wait, leave it in. No, pull it out. It'd be horrible. But he strikes a pose. Oh, my hair is dangling in front of my face and it hurts so much. And Costner poses ever so perfectly, and he's dramatically walking away as if waiting for the cue of Robin. And it's like, okay, the severity is gone. That opening scene, yes, is a little more dark and disturbing, but it leaves it all behind, and it turns into farcical territory.
Well, what about the music? I played some music for you. It was the composer is Michael Kamen.
Yes, it is.
And
who scored Die Hard, ironically.
Who scored Die Hard, okay. But Michael Kamen wrote this badass opening theme.
Which they still use to this day.
Which is incredible, but amazingly kind of forgotten.
Not unlike the opening score to one of your movies, Quigley Down Under, where the score sets you up with such a high, and then the movie kind of like, whatever.
Basil Polidorus.
Yeah, who's, I don't want to say a forgotten composer, but a not terribly celebrated one.
No.
And Michael Kamen is, I think, more well-known, but he's also, he's not one of the ones they always talk about, but he's very good.
And what about what this movie inspired? It inspired Robin Hood Men in Tights, where they kind of made fun of the fact that Kevin Costner could not speak with an English accent.
No, he couldn't.
He admitted that he tried. He just wasn't any good.
Well, he'd be a fool not to just cop to it and say sorry, just like Schumacher apologizing for Batman and Robin. There's no running from it. Just take it.
Was it really ripe for parody at that point, do you think?
Costner or the whole movie?
The whole thing.
I think you know, I enjoy elements of Men in Tights. Yes, we do, of course. But I do think it was too soon. I think some of the best spoofs and or satires take a little time to let the source material burn into our consciousness and become kind of a part of the vernacular. You know, beam me up, Scotty, things like that. So say when Brooks turned around and did Spaceballs, yeah, he's doing Star Trek and Star Wars, but it's like we get all the, even if you haven't seen them, you get all the jokes. For Men in Tights, while has funny elements, it draws heavily from Prince of Thieves to where almost some of the scenes may be funny, but they don't have context as to why he's not ripping them off, spoofing them, or, you know, providing a satirical version of them. And so I do think it was too soon, and I think that's also one of, I'm way off topic here, but I think that's one of the problems with the later Mel Brooks comedies, is that they were just drawing from something that was in the public consciousness. I mean, he was a step away from doing like the date movie things where it's like, the movie's barely even out yet, you know, that sort of thing. So yeah, I do think it was too soon.
I think maybe 2 steps away from doing that kind of stuff.
I shouldn't say one. That's an insult.
I know. Like, I wouldn't want to mention Mel Brooks and the date movie guys in the same sentence.
But you get what I'm saying. I'm just making a point.
Yeah, I get your point. Yeah. Well, back to Prince of Thieves. I think...
what about, what's her name? Marion.
Mary Elizabeth Master Antonio. Name's too long. Needs to shorten it. I think she
was great.
She did a good job. She like Morgan Freeman, blended in.
Yes.
I wasn't familiar with her too much. I'd probably seen The Abyss at this point.
I think that's kind of just what we knew her from.
Come on, you bitch.
You never backed away from anything in your life.
Now fight.
Fight. Fight.
It's not funny.
It's not.
But it's great. Anyway, so Prince of Thieves.
I think that's a good Morgan Freeman, her, even Alan Rickman.
Right.
They were known, but they were not movie like
Kevin Costner.
Yeah, he's a friggin' movie star at that point, and they don't detract from the movie. He does, just like Christian Slater does, and I do like Christian Slater. I do, but the two of them stick out because they were movie stars, whereas the other ones I felt were actors. You know,
right?
Even Morgan Freeman to this day, when I'm watching the Batman movies, yeah, I know it's Morgan Freeman, but I never get caught up thinking, oh, that's Morgan Freeman. He's managed to he's a star, but I've never felt like his persona overtakes the character.
Well, are we talking about actors that have really been in supporting roles, more or less?
He's done both. Morgan
Where
Freeman.
has he really been the lead?
Aside from Lean On Me?
Yeah.
I guess you could say he's been in more ensemble type works. I mean,
right.
Or you can look at like Kiss the Girls, or there was like a sequel to that, I believe he did.
Along Came a Spider.
Along Came a Spider. I mean, Seven, yeah, I mean, it's a duo role,
That's
but
true.
he's definitely one of the two stars. He's a headliner in his own way, not a major one, but still a step down from that big mega star. He's certainly not Will Smith, for example. You know, when you see Will Smith, that's all I see. It's just Will Smith playing a genie, or Will Smith doing this.
Right.
I don't see that with Morgan Freeman or Mary Elizabeth or Alan Rickman. But those two guys, you know, they're the ones posing. You know, the famous shot, and it is a beautiful shot. I can't argue with it. When it was in all the trailers when he's doing the arrow shot towards camera with the explosions going on behind him, like Power Ranger style. And you're like, I'd turn around. There's an explosion going on behind me. But no, not when you're a cool mega star. You don't turn around. You pose for the explosion.
So you mentioned the movie doesn't quite hold up.
Not entirely.
Okay. That I would tend to agree, although I still think it's a lot of fun.
Sure.
I think it's not something I would sit down and watch all the way through. I would watch pieces of it. Yeah. It's definitely, I think it would be a harder sit all the way through just for one sitting. But yeah, a lot of great stuff. It's a lot of good stuff. So I would still rate it pretty high.
I think you really described it. It's a fun, entertaining movie in pieces. It's overcooked.
I like that. Overcooked. It's overdone.
It's overcooked and overdone.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Airplane now.
Oh, okay.
Captain Overdone.
I think that's the sequel.
Actually, you are aware of the other Robin Hood movie that came out around the same time this one did, called just Robin Hood.
Yeah, Uma Thurman was in it.
She was Marion, and Patrick Bergman was Robin Hood.
Right.
And this was I don't want to say BBC, but it was an English-made Robin Hood movie, much lower budget. Not to say it looked cheap by any means, it didn't, but it wasn't a big Hollywood spectacle.
No.
It was much more gritty, much more an attempt to depict the time. No flashiness, no posing. People were dirty. Even Robin Hood was dirty. Everyone was grungy. It was
sure.
I mean, it's still. It
wasn't as fun.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, Prince of Thieves has a very serious tone to it, but they managed to make it fun.
Yeah, this Robin Hood wasn't trying.
No,
to
it was. Well, it was. No, it wasn't.
Defense.
That's why as a kid I would never opt to watch this other Robin Hood. Although I remember our dad would always want to watch the other version with Patrick Bergman or Bergen.
Yeah, I think it's Bergen.
What have you? I'll just say the one with Uma Thurman.
Yeah,
with
sure.
Uma. And I'd be like, that's not fun. It's kind of boring. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting though that no one remembers that movie, because I think they, for us anyway, I think in England they released it in the theaters.
Yeah.
But for us it was like a direct to HBO release.
Yeah,
I believe.
So.
And it's a good movie from my memory anyway. But yes, it's a very different kind of movie, and I wouldn't, if I had to choose between the two, yes, I would go with Prince of Thieves just because it is more fun, and but like so many, I shouldn't say so many, but like other examples out there where Deep Impact and Armageddon, two similar movies released at the same time, this one is never talked about ever. Like, most people don't remember it, probably because it did not get a theatrical release. Had it, maybe this would be a different sort of discussion, but I think that's an interesting thing to note when talking about Prince of Thieves. And to follow up your thought, Kevin Costner was horribly miscast, but everyone knows that.
Does everyone know that?
I think they do. It's kind of like universal. It's not to say that people don't like Kevin Costner. They do. They just acknowledge this wasn't the role for him.
I think as an actor, he looks okay as.
Oh, sure, but visually.
In terms of his performance, not in this period. No. Like when I see him playing in Fandango or in The Bodyguard.
Oh yeah, he's great.
He's great in it.
It's perfect. Just this character in this setting was not for him.
No. Like the guy who played John Little. Perfect for the part.
Yeah,
perfect. Against Kevin Costner. No.
They don't work
They
together.
don't have the chemistry you want them to have.
They
Not
don't.
really.
And those characters should have chemistry, and they don't at all. There's actually more chemistry between the Robin Hood and Little John in Prince of Thieves. Really.
That's what
not
I just
Prince
said.
of Thieves. Men in Tights. Those two have more chemistry than the Prince of Thieves.
You're right. They do. A toll's a toll, and a roll's a roll. That's kind of embarrassing. They do.
They do
have more chemistry.
I think in the case of Prince of Thieves, the problem is the casting. The guy was fine. There was nothing wrong with him, but he was not a superstar. And when you put them together, it feels the weight balance is off. If they had cast a bigger name, it might have worked, because anyone less than a megastar at that time was going to pale in comparison to the wattage of Kevin Costner. So that was the problem. Like I said, his performance was fine. I can literally see in my mind's eye when they've got the boy about to hang, along with the other people.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Let my boy go," something like that. I mean, he's good.
He did a great job.
Yeah, it was just the chemistry.
He looks like he's from that time. He fits in there
totally
perfectly.
Does. Yes. I think he's got
most of the actors in there do. They did a great job.
They do. Even Alan Rickman largely looked of the time. He didn't stick out. Even his goon, who we didn't mention, who's his real name escapes me, but I mean he's in a ton of things. He's always a
you
baddie.
mean the deputy guy?
The cousin.
The cousin. Guy of Gisborne.
Yeah, Guy of Gisborne.
He's got that raspy voice. Yeah.
Uncle. Yeah.
He's Kevin Reynolds also did the Count of Monte Cristo, and he's the warden.
Yeah.
The Chateau d'If.
I love that movie.
Oh, he's great in it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that guy. Ooh, I had his name for a second. It's Michael something.
Something like that.
That guy is really good.
And he's dispatched in a very unkind way.
I was about to ask you because, quite frankly, I couldn't remember in this movie, how does he
Alan
die?
Rickman just kills him, just out of the blue. He just stabs him in the stomach.
He does?
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
He, the Guy of Gisborne.
Ironically, I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, there you go. The Guy of Gisborne had gone out to do something of Alan Rickman's bidding,
Right.
and screwed it up. And he came back in to tell him, and it was just his. Alan Rickman coincidentally was showing him like, oh, look at all these great swords we're making, haha. And obviously it was a trick,
Right.
And the Guy of Gisborne is completely oblivious to this, and he kind of starts to break down and says, I'm sorry, I tried. And Alan Rickman is playing like he's sympathetic. It's all right, cousin, it's okay. And then he picks up the sword and goes, "Urgh," and just stabs him. He's like, yeah, you like that? And the guy is like, what the hell? You just stabbed me. Then he just falls down and dies. And everyone working on their swords just kind of looks and goes, should we do something? Should we get him a doctor?
Right.
No? Okay. Guess we're just going to let him die. And that's it.
Wow.
No more of that guy after that.
Yeah, I like that guy.
That just goes to show you how heartless Alan Rickman's character is.
Sure.
In that movie. Who is comedically played by Richard Lewis in Men in Tights. I have a mole.
I have a mole?
Not that blow. This has almost been like... This has almost been Remember Men in Tights and Prince of Thieves.
Honestly, can you really separate them?
I guess you can.
It's almost hard not to.
I hadn't brought this topic up with the intention of that happening, but it's
almost like talking about Hot Shots, for example, and not talking about Top Gun, or
right.
Top Gun without Hot Shots. They're married now.
It's peas and carrots.
Peas and carrots.
Right.
Franks
Peanut
and
butter
beans.
and jelly.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. If this sucked, go ahead and write in and tell us. If you liked it, hey, write in and tell us. And why don't you, leave a comment, give us a star rating, or give us a like. Every little bit helps. Yep.
Well,
that's not me begging, by the way. Just if you want to. It's just a click away. Anyway, okay.
We hope you remember that too.
Wow, that was good.
Was that bad?
Yeah, it was. Well, thanks for listening.